Introducing the Glute Medius Hip Thrust. So 10 years ago, I want to show you guys some footage from 2013. I came up with this exercise I called double standing hip abduction. And basically what I did was, I was a little bit flexed, but I would start here and then go up like this. So I would kind of go like here, there. And it's like, why did I not think of holding on to something? And why did I not think of putting load here? The other thing I realized is, in physical therapy, they have the hip hike. You just laterally tilt. So if you're looking at like someone's shirt, you'll see it sink down this way. You are laterally tilting, you're stretching the glute medius, and then you just come up like this. Drop, see how this foot is longer than this one? And then you straighten it out. So this is a hip hike. If you do enough reps of this, you feel it really working there. Especially what I've realized through this exercise, through coaching it so much now, if you kind of sink laterally, see how my leg starts out here, it's straight, it moves laterally, and then I straighten out and it moves this way. That's a huge glute medius contraction right here. I feel this big time. So what I did was I took that idea from 2013, the double standing hip abduction, and I said, let's do a few things to it. Let's get in more of a stretch into lateral pelvic tilt. Let's hold on for stability and let's put weight there. And so then I started calling it the weighted hip hike, because that's a hip hike. But at first, I started having people wear ankle weights and standing on something, they'd have ankle weights on and just do this. And then I realized it works better because what people don't realize, if you move this leg outwards, yes, you feel this a little bit, but it's this glute working. So what I do is I started using ankle weights and I would kind of go like this. And you really feel it, okay? But then I'm like, okay, my ankle weights, I've got two 10-pounders, so I can only do 20 pounds. I want more weight. Well, then I thought, I really don't have to stand on anything. I could just do the same thing, bend my knee. And when I bend my knee, it creates this nice little shelf for the plate. Now, these BC strength plates are perfect. You want the ones with the handles. So, grab on for stability. One thing, you don't want to be too close to here. You want to be far enough away that where you're kind of at an angle right off the bat. You want to start here. This is loading up the glute medius and stretch. I'm not flexed at the hip, so from the side view, I'm right here. I'm moving side to side laterally. I'm not bending and I'm not rotating. I'm not rotating like this, and I'm not flexed at the hip. And I'm not squatting. People initially want to squat. That's all they know. They've been squatting for so long. So what I do is, from here, you can bend the knee a little bit, but not too much. So from here, and you can start this out with body weight. Don't try to use too much weight right away. Do body weight a couple sessions before you start adding load. And you can just put your hand on your hip, sink this way, lateral tilt, and move the hip laterally. So see my shirt, this is level, I'm sunken down, see that? I'm shifting this leg laterally and this shirt now is diagonal. This is loading up the glute medius and stretch, and then I use this glute to push laterally, push to the side, and I raise this as high as I can. Now, one critical element, the two critical elements to this are, well, there are several. One is you don't want to bend over. You want to stay in the lateral plane, the frontal plane. The second is to pre-stretch right there like that to get the lateral tilt and the lateral leg movement. And the third is to abduct all the way, moving in the frontal plane. And then you see this pop right there. See this? Pop. See that leg? It moves boom, right there. Now I've got maximal shortening here. So you have maximal lengthening, maximal shortening. And one thing, if you study the leg, how much can it adduct anyway? You only have about 30 degrees. So if you can either move, you can either adduct 30 degrees or you can lateral tilt 30 degrees. But eventually you run out of range of motion. But you gotta practice this kind of sinking into that hip, and you'll feel it stretch the glute medius. So then once you do tilt, pop, then you get in a rhythm. Okay, I'm already burning like crazy here. The next step is to use a plate, preferably a plate with handles. Obviously, use 10 pounds first, then 25 pounds. When you're really advanced, you can use the 45, and the weight goes right here like this. See how it's a nice stable position? Sink, drive up, pop, sink, drive up. So what I realized was, I'm doing 25 reps now with the 45-pound plate. I don't like doing 25 reps of anything. I want to do 15 reps. Obviously, this is not an exercise where you're going to do 1 rep max. It's more like a 10 to 30 rep movement. But I realized I can use a dumbbell. You just put it right here. So now I'm using a 60-pound dumbbell. I got 15 reps yesterday. You just have to make sure the dumbbell goes right here. So it looks like this. Okay, and then when you do the other side, switch. Here's what it looks like from behind. Okay, shift, stretch. So you see that. Watch the leg. Tilt, push, tilt, push. And you feel that pop right here. Don't go to here. Finish off right there. We just got a study published showing hip thrusts and squats, they build the gluteus maximus. They don't build the glute medius. To maximize gluteus medius hypertrophy, you have to be doing frontal plane movements. You will not maximize your shelf by doing hip extension. I love cable abductions. I love band abductions. We do a lot of different abduction, but this is my favorite. And you know why? Because all you need is something to hold on to and a plate. You can do that anywhere. This is the first highly effective glute medius exercise that can be done with free weights. So in my opinion, everyone from around the world should be doing this exercise. Whether you're just, elderly, training for functional strength, glute medius helps prevent falls. Or you're an athlete looking to improve your lateral agility, or you're a bikini competitor trying to build a shelf and get more upper glute growth, because in bikini right now, it's all about upper glutes. You need more upper glutes. That's what every judge is saying to the girls. You need more upper glutes. You need more upper glutes. So this should be a staple in your program. I'm calling it the glute medius hip thrust because this is the hip thrust for the glute medius. Yes, you're not thrusting your hips, but it's that good of an exercise. And I think that name will stick. It sounds better than double standing hip abduction. It sounds better than the weighted hip hike. Just remember to get good at body weight first, then add load. Progressive overload is only progressive overload when you use the same range of motion and the same technique. So if you're doing body weight, nice and smooth like this, and then you hold on to weight and you stop, what you see with the common errors, you stop getting the stretch. People just go from here and then they won't come out that high and they'll kind of heave and they'll be like that, and they're heaving. It should look nice and smooth like this. that's the glute medius hip thrust. Give it a try. Ask me questions. I will try my best to answer them in the comments section. Sorry for the long absence on YouTube. I'd like to offer an excuse, but I've just been overwhelmed. That's it.